Hey everybody, it's your boy Commando underscore Thorn 123. Today we are doing a we are resuming where we last left off on what if Soundwave was a secret Autobot in Transformers Prime. So let's resume. We resume our story at the Autobot base with Bumblebee acting very differently. Soundwave keeps an eye on Bumblebee and is a little concerned. Once Bumblebee tells Ratchet of seeing Megatron, Soundwave is very concerned because Megatron could and most likely will have a grudge against Soundwave. So, as in the original, Fowler contacts Team Prime and about Starscream doing all this stuff, and Optimus then assembles Lift Jumper, RC, Wheeljack, and Bulkhead to go to the Arctic. And the reason why Soundwave might not be going, everyone, the reason why Soundwave is not going is because Soundwave doesn't have the build for, fighting. Sure, RC and Soundwave are skinny, but RC is more skilled in combat, and Soundwave, he is, like, with Megatron, learning Megatron might be inside of Bumblebee's body, then Soundwave wants to make sure everyone's safe at base, so it's not a problem. So, Team Prime heads to Antarctica to make sure there's no glitch. I mean, Team Prime heads to Antarctica, and Soundwave then goes to check on Megatron's brain activity, and wants to also check if Bumblebee isn't glitching, because that is definitely a possibility. So Soundwave checks Megatron's brain activity and sees that there is nothing, and I mean nothing, but just a shell of Megatron. Soundwave heads to find Ratchet in the vault because Ratchet in the original needed to find supplies, and Soundwave did remember that they haven't checked supplies in a while, so he heads to the vault, and Soundwave is about to tell Ratchet that something is wrong, but then they hear the ground bridge opening and Raph yelling. So Ratchet and Raph are like trying to figure out what's going on, and then Soundwave says, it's Megatron, like, he's controlling Bumblebee's mind. It must be from the cortical psychic patch. Like, Megatron might have hitched a ride or something. Ratchet checks the coordinates where Bumblebee activated the ground bridge, and Ratchet then opens the ground bridge and sees Bumblebee holding the Dark Energon, and is a little taken back by this. And so he's caught off guard, and then Bumblebee tosses, and I mean like tosses Ratchet into Bumblebee. I mean Ratchet into Soundwave. So before Bumblebee threw Ratchet into Soundwave ejected Laserbeak to get Raph out of there, because Soundwave didn't want to have a human die on his watch, because since he is now an Autobot and Autobots protect life. So Megatron is still revived by Bumblebee, and once Megatron pins Bumblebee to the ground and is about to kill him, Soundwave then comes out of nowhere and uses his tentacles, because I think the tentacles, if I remember correctly, the tentacles were his cannons and a little bit of his hands or something like that, but mostly cannons. So he used one of his tentacles and fired on Megatron, and Megatron was upset. So Megatron chased after Soundwave, and Soundwave opened a ground bridge to Antarctica. And I kind of wanted to miss out on this part, everyone, purposefully. Like, the Autobots do go to Antarctica and fight Starscream and the Nemesis, but instead of just Breakdown alone fighting the Autobots, it's since Team Prime has more Autobots now, it's like they bring Starscream brings a few Viacons, want a few Viacons to go with Breakdown to help take down the Autobots, because there are more Autobots and sometimes numbers can overwhelm a single strong soldier. But while flying, Starscream does, so Optimus still destroys the laser cannon, but and Starscream does fire, like, try to ram his jet form or a missile on Optimus, but Megatron crashes into Starscream, and Starscream is, like, terrified because he knows that he will get a beating because he didn't go back for Megatron. So I think it will, and when Megatron then sees Soundwave and the Autobots escape, Megatron kind of needs a punching bag, and Starscream, let's be honest, everyone, Starscream and TFP was a punching bag for Megatron. I'm being honest, everyone, right here. So Starscream may get a little bit of a lighter sentence or the same punishment because Starscream did not try to kill Megatron, but he did abandon him, so I think Megatron would still be upset. And moving on to the Shadow Zone episode, goes the same, but Cliffjumper is pulled into the Shadow Zone as well. So I think the Team Prime will also be able to find out that something happened a lot quicker than in the original, but it still goes the same. And Skyquake, everyone, I want to know one thing. I want to know this one thing. I know Skyquake, had a brother, Dreadwing, great character, by the way. They shared a twin spark. But here's the one thing. When they shared a twin spark, you can sense when someone awakes. Dreadwing said he felt that Skyquake awoken from stasis and died, but he didn't feel the resurrection of Skyquake. And that is, like, the confusing part for me. Like, how did it, if you two share the twin spark, but he got revived and you can't sense him, how do you, what is that? But that may be for another episode or video, but we're just going to leave it right there, like, not the video, but the part of being undead Skyquake. So Operation Breakdown goes the same, and Breakdown is still attacked by the mech, and Megatron still abandons him, and Starscream is, like, planning. Like, I think Starscream could get off a lot easier because if Soundwave's not there, there's not really much security around anymore, because Soundwave was the eyes and ears of the Decepticons. But anyway, Team Prime still goes to find Breakdown, and so Optimus splits up Team Prime. He Optimus takes Ratchet, RC, and Bumblebee to where the Energon source was going, while Cliffjumper, Wheeljack, and Soundwave go to follow the tracks, because I think Cliffjumper and Wheeljack would be wondering what if it's a false signal. And the reason why I added Breakdown Bulkhead here in this image is because I think Miko could convince Bulkhead to still go, because even though you were enemies, you should still try to help each other. So Bulkhead helps Breakdown, and Breakdown is shocked to find out that the Autobots would risk their lives for him. So he is debating why didn't the Decepticons come yet? We're Emily, or something like that. I don't know. So Optimus's group finds Breakdown's eye, and the explosion still happens. But when the explosion happens, Soundwave sends Laserbeak to go over there, because I think Soundwave would still have to take care of Mech, even if it's not in good favor for Mech. Anyway, Starscream still arrives with the Viacons, and Starscream is upset to see more Autobots here, but I think Starscream would be more hesitant on asking Breakdown to take down the Autobots, because it's a larger group than just Bulkhead alone. But anyway, Starscream still tries to order Breakdown to kill the Autobots, and Breakdown would respond with but they saved me. Wait. And oh yeah. So Starscream would reply with a "I don't care" kind of thing, now destroy them. And Soundwave would then say Soundwave then would say this to Starscream, Starscream, let me guess, Megatron doesn't know about you coming here. Megatron wouldn't care for a soldier who would fall to humans. And I wanted to try that, everyone. So comment down below if you want to hear more of my Soundwave voice. And Starscream would reply with, "That is none of your concern, Soundwave. Now Breakdown, kill them." And Starscream would get really agitated by this, because Starscream kinda gave up something. He gave up. But right here is where Breakdown realizes that Megatron abandoned him, and Starscream came here without Megatron's permission. And everyone, if you're wondering, why would Megatron abandon Breakdown even with Autobots outnumbering them? Well, here's the thing, everyone. I kind of had to use Google to help me with this, but that's beside the point. I asked, Megatron would still abandon Breakdown because Breakdown to the Decepticons was just muscle, not about brains. He was more muscle than brains, if I'm being honest. All the fight, Breakdown's, the reason why Breakdown died in Transformers Prime was because he used his muscles than his brain. Dreadwing ordered him not to attack and help, but help, and Breakdown just went for revenge. And his muscles took over and his emotions took over. So Megatron, that probably happened somewhere in earlier on this series. So Megatron wouldn't really want to keep him alive, and like, how are you going to tell that to Knockout? Like, Knockout was like the best friend of Breakdown. So Megatron just probably said he's KIA or MIA or something like that to make sure Knockout doesn't do something. But Breakdown right here, knowing that the Autobots came back for him and Megatron just abandoned him, Breakdown like is debating like whether I should be a spy or should I be like a Autobot permanently. But like Breakdown, I think Breakdown would realize, okay, if Megatron abandoned me, then I'm probably not going to be good as a spy, even with Soundwave gone. So I'm just going to join Autobots. So he just then smashes, uses his hammer and like slams Starscream into a tree or another Viacon, and Starscream orders the Viacons to attack, and the Viacons attack, but they are quickly, and I mean quickly, finished. Like it's like 5v1, like it's like let me check. It's like 5v1, like a 5v1 if I'm being honest. So Starscream gets away, but Optimus and the rest of Optimus's group comes to the site of where Bulkhead and the others were, and Optimus talks to Breakdown about like, you could join us, like Soundwave told me that you would act Starscream, and with doing that there's no really going back, so you can join us. So Breakdown then thinks about it and shakes Optimus's hand, but is concerned for Knockout's safety because they're friends. But like, with Megatron with Knockout not really knowing that Breakdown was killed or like captured or turning into an Autobot, and Megatron knowing, it's like pretty safe for Knockout until Knockout learns a truth. So they head back to Autobot base. Breakdown gets his eye repaired, and Miko then asks Wheeljack why did Breakdown and Bulkhead hate each other, and Wheeljack would know Bulkhead's story because, like, since Bulkhead and Wheeljack are best friends, like, I think Wheeljack would know about the story of how Breakdown and Bulkhead hated each other. So Wheeljack says Breakdown wasn't always a Decepticon. He used to be an Autobot, like a fast Autobot, but he betrayed the Autobots because, like, for some reason, and I think Breakdown would also reply with why he joined the Decepticons and how what made him change his mind. But moving on to the next episode, Crisscross. Let me, oh man, it goes the same, but RC is still can't contact any of the other Autobots. So she's pretty much pinned down with options, but Soundwave, being a technician expert, like, hears the comm chatter on RC's channel and doesn't tell Optimus because he probably heard the message as well. Like, Soundwave would tell Agent Fowler, or like, so Mech is at these coordinates and have Jack's mother, and like, we need to help them. But if Cybertronians or any noise like goes around, then they're going to evacuate and like attack. So Fowler is like, okay, I'll get in some Spec Ops units, and I think everyone Fowler should have used Spec Ops in the original series, and I think mech soldiers would still get captured, like a few mech soldiers, because it's like they didn't get caught, like with Soundwave there, they would have found out, they would have been captured and more of them, but a few would have escaped with along with Silas. But moving on, RC Jack shows his mom around Autobot base, and Jack's mom still learns about Autobots, and like it's going like she is like terrified now that there's an alien war and her son is like knowing about this. So moving on to Metal Attraction, RC, Bulkhead, and Breakdown go to the site, but the reason I'm keeping RC in here because Jack's mom probably just like still got RC upset. So RC Bulkhead and Breakdown need some like trust exercising, so they go on a mission together. So they are all put together. So when the two get there, they see Viacons fighting Arachnid. And lost my spot. The Viacons still lose. Let's be honest. Like even like they still lose against Arachnid. And so who was leading the squad was actually Knockout. And Knockout still tried to put up a good fight, but let's be honest, Knockout against Arachnid is not even close, everyone. So Knockout tried to fight, keeping the polarity gauntlet, but he got stabbed, like, right in the side. And was, like, needing some medical attention, but RC and Bulkhead, like, drove off Arachnid, and they still got the polarity gauntlet, but I think Megatron would be keeping an eye on the squad because, like, once Megatron learns of this, like, Megatron goes after Arachnid by himself and then just captures her and brings her back to the Nemesis. So Knockout then, while RC and Bulkhead were driving off Arachnid, Breakdown took the polarity gauntlet and Knockout to Autobot base, and they repaired him, and Knockout was like telling Breakdown that, like, I thought you were dead, like Megatron said you were MIA. I'll do, like, what happened, and Breakdown would explain what happened, and Knockout would be like, wow, I didn't know you were abandoned. If I had known Megatron had the guts to leave you behind, I would have went back for you. So Knockout then decides, you know what? Get rid of the Decepticons. I'm Autobot. Anyway, everyone, next episode is Rock Bottom, and I cannot. It is the exact same. I do not see any point in changing it. Like, I see it the exact same thing happening. But the Partners episode goes on as the original, and it goes all the same until the part of Starscream getting captured and teleported, and they are like and they had to get the immobilizer. That's what it was. The immobilizer. They go to get the immobilizer, and Cliffjumper and Laserbeak, because Soundwave wants to make sure even if he gets trapped, Laserbeak could still survive. So Cliffjumper and Laserbeak keep an eye on Starscream, and Cliffjumper is like ready to give Starscream some dents, because Starscream killed like Cliffjumper's friends. I tried to find any friends Cliffjumper knew who died by Starscream's hands, everyone, but I couldn't. So we'll just say several Autobots Cliffjumper knew as friends or acquaintances like died. And not to mention, Starscream had Cliffjumper at death point. Like, Starscream was ready to kill Cliffjumper if it weren't for Soundwave. So Cliffjumper is like, you know what? I'm done with you. So I think Cliffjumper still gives Starscream an even fight, and the Starscream gives Cliffjumper a few good old dents and like injures Laserbeak, and Cliffjumper is like lying down, like leaking energon to like near the point of death, but he's not dead because Soundwave could repair Laserbeak. So what's the point? Like, he could possibly repair Cliffjumper for a little bit until they get to Knockout and Ratchet, because yes, Knockout is a part of Autobot team, and they are Ratchet and Knockout are medics. So Megatron is a little bit better, like happier than in the original, because Arachnid got away with the immobilizer, but Megatron still lost Starscream, and he is like not so happy, but like still somewhat happy. Then TMI episode goes the same, if not differently, but like I think the Autobots with a larger force are able to get the cylinder, but Bulkhead still may or may not lose his memories, or like gets infected with the formula for synthetic energon. With the Autobots having the cylinder, they don't really need to worry about it, because whether Bulkhead did or did not get the formula, they could just like pluck it out of his memory pretty quickly. And so like that is like the end of that episode. And let me just do something real quick, everyone. Yes, I'm Googling something. So, after TMI is going to be the episode of Stronger and Faster is going to be where we continue the story later. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.